Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on KNON 89.3 FM. The voice of the people. Got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about, and we got some things we want to get done. We're waiting on the callers to call in and get things started, and we hope you stick around for the whole show. We be here. We're going to talk about some of the things that are going on, all of the problems we're having with the police departments across the nation is finally coming to the light. Bringing these concealed cameras, and on the dashboard now they want them on the police to have them. And maybe America can finally wake up and deal with something that they've been in denial about a long time, the mistreatment of people at the hands of the police. It is a reality. It's been a reality ever since there have been a police department in America. So we want to highlight some of the things that are going on. There's been several shootings in Dallas. We're talking about Ferguson, Missouri, but Dallas, Texas is even worse when it comes to police shootings. They're going on all over America, everywhere you look, everywhere you go, everything when you're turning around. You listen, just get on the internet. You'd be surprised probably how many people were shot by the police last night. I hadn't even looked at it, but I can guarantee you there were many, and the majority of these people are unarmed. So wonder what's really going on. We wonder what's going on. And I tell you what, you can call me at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. We got a lot of things we want to talk about. We got a gentleman coming up in later on in the program. We're going to talk about something happening with the County Commissioners Court where you will view each other on video, and you'll have to pay for it. You won't meet each other in person when you go down to visit someone. I hadn't heard about it, but they called me and told me about this, and we want to discuss this because if it costs to visit and cost, it will not be a personal visit. It will be a video where you see each other on monitors and different things like that. And very impersonal, but costly. I wonder will the people care for that? And I wonder who's going to really suffer most from this. In other words, if you want to see your loved one, you may not be able to pay for the video, so you all will not communicate. All right, right now, we'd like to welcome to our KNON hotline, Mr. Dan Bell. Don Bell. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Bell.
How you doing this morning?
Fine. How are you this morning?
Well, I've had my coffee, and I guess I'm doing quite well.
All righty. I've been hearing quite a bit about you. You are an inventor?
No, sir, I'm not an inventor. I'm an engineer.
You are an engineer?
Yes, sir, not an inventor.
Oh, you haven't invented anything. Okay.
No, I have engineered quite a few things.
All right. What are some of the things you've engineered?
Well, I have done security-related apparatus. I have done printing press, sheet bed printing press apparatus, and I've done a number of military-related things, which would probably be too numerous to mention all, but I'd around the block.
All right, mention some of them. What are appetites? Mm-hmm.
You mean mention some of the actual products?
Yes.
Yes. I would say from a military point of view, I have designed the detector head on this nation's first aerial later guided missile, the Quiggin program, and that's very significant in terms of this nation. Mm-hmm. I have done for Radio Shack a device which we see symbols of with the AT&T Uverse device, whereby I have designed for Radio Shack a multiple video distribution device that enables many people to look at the same video in different rooms. Mm-hmm. So, so I've done a number of automobile-related security devices, which are technically very different, but if I started, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, all right. But when you start explaining these things, they may sound very similar, but they're very technically different.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you live here in Dallas, or where do you live?
Well, yes, I have been living in Dallas since 1949, so I guess I am a Dallasite.
Yes,
and,
I guess so.
Yes, sir. And I am originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
And as I said, my family moved to Dallas in 1949.
Have you received any acclaim for some of the things that you have, these particular entities that you have to enhance? Have you?
In terms of the commercial product industry, I have been recognized by the TADC, the Texas Association of Developing Colleges Award, and today I am chronicled in the at any Dallas Public Library, I should say any United States public library, in who's who in finance and industry for a number of things that I've done.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there any particular company that you work for, or do you work
no, I don't,
for yourself?
I don't work for. I work for myself. Yes.
You work for yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would say though, in responding to that, that several years ago, I had become the J.C. Penney Company's first black regional service manager, and my last job was manager of Yellow Cab Company.
Yellow Cab here in Dallas?
Yeah, here in Dallas. Dallas Yellow Cab, yes, sir.
All right.
I was on Irving.
1610 South Irving, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you now, when you create these inventions, do you have your own laboratory? Or,
no, that's more like a Poindexter question that you're asking me. I mean, there is not a place where you go, and when you go to this place, you start thinking. The thought process, sir, actually engages over several years, and you, at some point, if you decide to do a product, you sum up all of these years of cogitation about it and bring it to a point. But you just don't go to a Mr. Poindexter laboratory and start turning out all these robots and stuff like that. No, sir.
Okay. Well, you say you just ponder over these things for years, and then all of a sudden you put it on the drawing. How do you do it?
No. See, what I do, I would, let's, for an instance, take Greece. The ideas, plural, for Greece, started back when I was approximately 14 or 15 years of age. And I observed the electromagnetic spectrum. And I, over time, as you may know, the solar panel thing became a very talked about instrument to use for electricity. But I noticed, Reverend Barnett, that the solar panels were great for producing small amounts of voltage, but the voltage do have today very little current. So I knew that the voltage was in the air in terms of electromagnetic waves, but what I had to figure out over the years was how to get it the current capacity to do work. And so that's a process. Did take a number of years to figure out. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, did you go to college or anything, any formal education in
yes.
these type fields or what?
Yes, I did, but I would like to say that my college is a bonus. I went to Allen Hancock Junior College and Cal Poly College in San Luis Obispo, California. I would like to say again that my college was a bonus because all of the actual raw beginnings of the idea and other stuff, I'll put it that way, that has affected Leaf's creation really grew out of my early years as a curious young boy in West Dallas.
Mm-hmm. So you grew up in West Dallas?
It's a 3876 Sub Road.
Yeah. What high school did you finish from?
Booker T. Washington, under Mr. Patton.
Under Mr. Patton?
Yes, sir.
All right. You a Booker T. grad?
I'm a Bulldog, yes, sir.
All right. I know. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog.
Yes, sir.
And did you get much help at Booker T in your thinking? The way this is
yes,
a mindset, I see.
Yes, sir. Well, I can tell you that's a very interesting question that you asked me just now, because I can tell you one of my greatest boosters was Dr. Patton himself. And he did as much as he probably thought that he could to encourage the direction that I went, because he set aside one day of the week for me to teach the electronics class. So he was a very instrumental person.
Mm-hmm. You taught the electronic class at Booker T while you were still a student?
Yeah, while I was still a student, I had my day.
You had your day. Now,
Yes,
when you did this, did you have other students that became involved in electronics as well as you?
Well, I can't say tacitly that they became involved in electronics as well as I, but there were a number of young men who were engaged in electronics.
Mm-hmm. Now, what years was this, so I can really identify what years you're talking about?
I think that I went to Booker T after graduating from Sequoia Junior High School. I think it was either like 1959, 1960.
Oh, okay. Had the transistor radio come into existence?
Oh yes, it was very much out. As a matter of fact, I had become somewhat prudent in the use of transistors, and so at that young age, I was very competitive in terms of transistors. Yes, sir.
Now, People today, that radio would be antique to young people today.
But it was
it was a phenomenon back in the day, not to have a big upright tube radio, but to have a little electronic device that you could carry around in your pocket, in your hand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And if I remember right, that thing was built and invented at Texas Instruments, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. And the calculator as well.
Both at Texas Instruments here in Dallas.
Off of Exit 22, Central Expressway.
Yeah. And did you look at that, try to modify the transistor radio?
There was no reason for me to modify it. For what reason? It was working, so it was a new thing. So as far as most humans were concerned, like as you say, it was a great thing. So why mess up a good thing?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it could have been enhanced. I don't know. You might have had a reason.
Well, today, of course, certainly technology has looked at ways to enhance it. Mm-hmm. But during that time, there was no thought of that, I would imagine.
No thought of the after the transistor radio. What other phenomenal electronic object did we have that overtook our society?
Well, there were a number of things, but I would say that in terms of home entertainment, the big screen TV came along. Of course, before that, the VCR, which I used to have a VCR service center myself. And I would say the Betamax VCR was a great thing because it really performed perfectly as far as what we could see. Mm-hmm. And so the VCR was a step up.
Mm-hmm. Concerning the things that you've invented, were you?
Those are engineered.
You were engineered. Okay. Were you rewarded for those monetarily?
Well, yeah, I think the thing that I left out that I should have mentioned earlier, back in 1990, I got credit for a technology that is today referred to as video on demand. It was called by me at that time Movie Quest, and I was monetarily rewarded by Viacom and Blockbuster Video.
All right. Are those the only ones that rewarded you for your engineering skills?
Well, actually, certainly, as I have done work for Radio Shack, yes, sir, they had to pay me.
They had to pay you.
Yes, sir.
As an engineer like that, are you handsomely rewarded like that, or?
Well, I don't know. Well, say we use the word handsomely. I don't know what that means, but I can tell you that I.
Well, did you make any money?
Oh yeah, I made quite a bit.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to put it in a nice way.
Well, let's put it like it is.
Yeah, all right. You made money, and would you advise other young people to go into engineering?
As a matter of fact, I not only would advise them, I would tell them that the future is dependent upon their participation. And it is very significant to the United States of America and to the world that our young people get involved. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And now one of the great schools of engineering here in America is Prairie View A&M, who will be in the city of their football team and band and all on the 27th of this month. And have you worked any with Prairie View?
No, sir. And I can say quite clearly, I have no interest in working with them.
Okay, I tell you what, we'll hold up for a second. We're up against a short break. And those of you who have questions or comments on our particular guest, Mr. Don Bell, you can call us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum, and I'm Marion, Barnett, your host, and our special guest this morning is Mr. Don Bell. He's an engineer, and he's enhanced a lot of products, and we were discussing Prairie View A&M University, who educate many of the engineers here in America. You said you have nothing to do with them and desire...
Well, the fact of it is, Reverend Barnett, let's just lay the facts on the table. I have been around the world, the earth, on the job, connected with a job that was provided me by former Governor Bill Clinton's Petco. And I can tell you that my experience continent from continent, I see nothing that these engineers that you're talking about have done around the world. So I see that as a zero thing. Yes, sir.
You never thought about maybe trying to enhance them and help them and go in?
No,
and be a part?
Well, actually, you cannot, because there is a black do nothing, know nothing attitude when one attempts to engage these people. So I don't bother to type my time in this endeavor.
Oh, okay. I can see you're not a great fan of Prairie View. All right. And when we see many of the other things that you've enhanced, could you name some more of the things? Because we are probably sitting up using something that you've enhanced right now, use every day in our everyday life to make things better. Are there others?
I would say, Reverend Barnett, the things that stand out are two things. There are probably millions of Americans who are using the AT&T Uber system. That system was built on the backbone of the multiple video distribution unit that I designed for Radio Shack. And also, as you know, there are millions of Americans and other people on Earth that deal with video on demand features from their cell phone, their TV, and video conferences. Let me just say that when I did this technology, it was not as easy to do then as it would have been if I had gotten this great idea today. It was done over 10 kc bandwidth telephone copper wires. And so today we have fiber optics and all of that, so it would be an easy task to undertake today.
Would you be one who would say that when we do a lot of things, say take the NASA program, had you done anything that would enhance the NASA program?
You mean NASA Space Administration?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I can just say no. However, I've been a steady tracker of NASA since they launched Friendship 7 several years ago on top of Redstone rocket and put up the United States' first satellite. I have been just absolutely amazed at the things that they have done. Yes, sir.
All right. What about the United States military?
No, sir. I did not attend that.
No, you not done any
No, I would
engineering work with
college bound. No.
No, not the military.
Well, I mean, I've done work at TI in industry that has affected the military, but I've not done anything directly with the military. No.
All right. What are some of the things you've done with Texas Instruments?
Oh, well, of course, I have worked as an engineer out there, and there have been, I can tell you, to answer your question more directly, my first job was connected with fire and forget weapons. The weapons affected were the Nike Ajax, the Nike Hercules, the Bullpup, and Bulldog missiles. We were of the mind, sir, to have it when these missiles were fired, you could just forget about it. You would put a program in the missile for the missile to know where to go and to deal appropriately with the target. So my first job was to design and develop technology that would enable these missiles to do their work on a fire and forget basis.
Mm-hmm. Are these similar to something like the smart bombs they talked about? They could drop them?
No.
They weren't similar to that.
Well, let me just say that the smart bombs got their ideas, so to speak, from the fire and forget weapons. So we shouldn't confuse these two weapon technologies, but the smart bombs are really children of the fire and forget weapons.
All right. Now, right now, we have nuclear weapons all over the world and submarines everywhere and that. Do you think we have the technology that could ever keep us from ever using these nuclear weapons? Is there something that to make sure that no mistake would be made and they would be fired on a wrong premise? Is there any technology to make sure mistakes aren't made with these all these nuclear weapons?
Well, there is a technology. It's called human nature. It seems to me, Reverend Barnett, that we humans are in a very dangerous box right now, and so it's not likely that there will be a pill that someone could take and prevent them from making an egregious mistake.
Well, do you think we're on the precipice of World War III? With all this happening in the Ukraine, Russia is building up in one area, the United States calling NATO together to stop what they call Russian aggression. Do you think this is headed toward World War III?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, it seems to me that it should be clear in the minds of those who are observing these incidents around the world that none of these incidents have ever been talked about escalating up to nuclear action. It is just a rogue set of circumstances where people use conventional weapons to terrorize each other. So no, we shouldn't get a terrible conventional thing confused with a nuclear reaction, no.
So in other words, you think if the U.S. and Russia was to go head-to-head, it would only be conventional warfare. There would be no nuclear weapons.
Yes, because the Russians want to live just like we want to live, so it's not a hard thing to figure out.
Well, but I look at the thing, what if one start getting the upper hand on the other, with the other retaliate in a means of desperation? Could that happen?
No, I can tell you that when we're talking about conventional weapons, we should not, in the same breath, mention nuclear weapons. It's clear to me if these two superpowers would engage one another on a conventional weapons level, that they still maintain the sanity to not completely see themselves wiped out. So the nuclear option is far, far from the table.
Which nation do you believe has the superiority in nuclear weapons?
It doesn't matter. Each nation has enough
to destroy the world.
Weapons to destroy the world, so that's immaterial.
Yeah, so in other words, they actually have checkmated each other.
That's the thing. It's really a situation described as MAD, M-A-D, mutual assured destruction. So it's a checkmate. That's a good word. I like that.
Yeah, well, when I've looked at this thing for years and years, even when Khrushchev was head of the Soviet Union, that it was obvious that they both could destroy the other and there would be no victor. So actually, that's where I came with the idea. They've checkmated each other, and it still will depend on who can come up with the best conventional warfare. That's why I asked you, had you done anything to deal with the military?
I think, Reverend Barnett, the best way to characterize that would be who is sitting on the edge of the next generation of terrible killer weapons. And it seems to me that the United States has the edge. I just don't know for sure, but it seems to me it's based on the stuff that I read that the United States has the edge when it comes to laser, particle beam, and plasma weapons. So that's the next generation of terrible weapons. Yes, sir.
Now, what about the weapons like those smart bombs, where they can just biological weapons? Have you had anything to do with dealing with
No, sir, I have not.
Could you explain what are those biological weapons?
Why, they are. Since I was reading, that's interesting that you bring it up, because I was reading last night that there is a country on the continent of Africa that has put, I shouldn't say plans or things into motion, but they are planning a biological weapon using the Ebola virus. So that's as much as I know about the biology-related weapons that may be on the table. I can say in terms of the smart bombs, here again, they are just that smart. They know when and where to detonate, and they have all of the attributes. Let's say, for instance, they were dropped from a B-1 bomber, which is really a tough aircraft. They are best deployed by those type bombers, and that they just do a more precision type bombing on it.
They couldn't be dropped from a B-52?
They can, yes, sir, they can. But they are best dropped
from a
BEST.
Yeah,
dropped
okay, from
a B-1 bomber.
Now, have you done anything with your engineering skills with food? What about our diets? You never worked with?
Oh yeah. Well, let me say this. You may recall that some years ago that there was some threat where people were putting anthrax in the mail and stuff like this. And so I got into the electronic anesthetic business, whereby I proposed a system to the United States government as being a postal anesthetic system to cleanse mail. And I would beat out, can you imagine this, by the Russians. And so I would like number 2 and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, all righty. Mr. Don Bell, I'm sorry. We thank you. We thank you for being a part of this program. And thank you for the information and knowledge. And we hope to hear from you again. All righty?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I tell you what, we're going up against a short break, and we'll be back. And you can call us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host. You can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Right now, we have on our KNON hotline Mr. Josh Raven. And could you bring Mr. Raven on? Good morning, Mr. Raven.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett. How are you this morning?
Fine. You doing all right?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, you discussed with me about something that will be happening at the Dallas County Commissioner's Court this Tuesday morning, you say?
Yes, sir. This is Tuesday, 9 a.m.
Okay, could you explain to us what's going on?
All right. Well, before the commission is a contract with a company by the name of Securus that would begin to provide what they call video visitation. Now, as a part of the contract, the jail would have to eliminate in-person, through the glass, or contact visitation altogether. And all types of visitation would move then to a video visitation format. Mm-hmm. For example, you would go to Lucerne, and if you wanted free visitation, you would have to go to some monitors that they set up inside the facilities. Otherwise, you could actually do it from home, but at a cost. And
wait a minute. Are you saying there would be no more personal visits with people, right through the glass, the hole in the glass and everything? You won't be able to get up close and personally anymore?
No, you'd no longer be able to see your loved one.
Wow. And it would be done basically by camera?
By camera, for profit.
For profit. You'll have to pay.
Sir. You'll have to pay.
How long has this thing been on the table?
Well, as an issue, it's been on the table since July that I'm aware of.
That you're aware of? Mm-hmm.
My organization, Texas Cure, became aware of this last Monday, and we watched these things very closely. And this one snuck under the table. And but not any longer. We know about it. In fact, Reverend Barnett, you're breaking the news to Dallas right now.
Wow. It hasn't been in the papers or anything?
Not yet. They're working on the story, but it hasn't been out yet.
So they could vote this thing in this Tuesday morning?
They could.
All right. So have you checked which way commissioners or the county judge? How is the county judge, Clay Jenkins, leaning on this?
Well, the county judge is against this, and he has a proposal on the table that would reject the bid. And so he is asking that everyone that wants to stop prison profiteers from moving into Dallas, they've got to get up, we've got to get awake, we've got to get moving.
Okay.
And
go right ahead. Go ahead.
There's a simple way to begin that. We have a website, which is www.phonejustice.org. and there's a petition on there. And this is for your folks who might not have a lot of time. This takes a couple of minutes. They can put in their name, address, email, and it will send a letter to every single commissioner, all 4 of them, saying we don't want this.
All right, could you give that site out again?
Yes, www.phonejustice.org.
All righty. And what commissioners are pushing? Have they exposed their hands on how they will probably vote on this issue?
Honestly, a lot of them have been keeping their cards close to their chest. They're not really letting anyone know how they feel about this, and that really scares me.
Okay, so in other words, there are 4 people up there, right?
There are 4 commissioners. That would be Mike Cantrell, Teresa Daniel, Dr. Alba Garcia, and John Wiley Price.
All righty. Now, do you know how any of them will vote?
I do not.
You don't know how any of them would vote?
I have talked to John Wiley Price, and he does have concerns about the screening issues when folks are coming in. He's had some constituents that have addressed the issues of waiting and being exposed to the elements while they're waiting to visit their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
The gel is very expensive, and that is true. And this company has come in and said, hey, we're going to give you some money. You're going to make some money off of this. And that's so lucrative to...
Okay, well, what about if I have a loved one down there I want to talk to, I want to see, but I'm broke? What happened to me?
Well, if you're broke, you can still go down there and you can do all the stuff you do to get into a stare at, and then you can stare at your loved one through a screen in a crowded room where you can hardly hear them. But you won't get to see them in person.
You won't get... so this is an economic thing where the rich will be able to communicate better than those who are not.
Yes. In fact, in the contract it says that you will paper back your in-person visits, and you will do everything that you can do to force people into the paid visits, essentially. You get through all the legalese, and that's exactly what it says.
Wow. 972-617-1893. 972-617-1893. Y'all need to get some concern about this. Come on, light those lines up. All right, let's go to line 2 and talk to a surprise guest. All right, can you bring me on line 2? Good morning. You're on Knon.
Good morning, Dr. Barnett. Hi, in the world lawyer. This is William Fausto in Houston, Texas. Someone you may know.
What's going on? What's going on, William Arthur? You all right?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm still in the fight, and I was up this morning trying to put together a foul issue to have the mayor of Marion indicted on charges of misconduct of office, and I ran across an article in a newspaper here from 1966 that reads this way. It says that the District 5 tracked them as last year's on Saturday, and it has some in, and I want to ask you a question, whether this was true, because it says that the Black Bears have a strong team in 400 relay with Barnett, Edwards, Marshall, and Burleson, bringing the stolen path, and while Burleson and Marshall will undoubtedly capture the 220 dash, Barnett and Edwards, who run the 100-yard dash in 9.56 and 9.02 respectively, are expected to dominate this 100-yard dash. Now, I don't want to get off your subject this morning, but when I read that, were you that fast, man?
Yeah, well, I remember I was one of the fastest men in the world in college. Could have been, might have been the fastest, but nobody was in track in those days.
I just had to call you and say
look at William Arthur, call me. You still got my home number, haven't you?
Yeah, I do.
Call me at home at 9:30 because I got some information I need for you, something I need you to do, because I need you to get me an update on the lady that was killed by the police, and we want to do something with that show special with people from her, and so I need you to call me at 9:30 this morning at home.
I'll do that, sir. And you have a wonderful day, and keep up the good work there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Fellow Hernite. All righty. Let's. Could you bring my guest back on? I'm sorry, Josh. I am sorry. Sorry about that. He's calling from out of town. And he wasn't listening to the program. Josh, you still there?
I'm here.
I'm sorry about that. Thank you, because this is a very, very important issue we got going here. I'm sort of upset about this because I can see people who, if you don't have money, you can't you can't go visit your loved ones. The way you're explaining this thing, and that's almost hard to believe. That's impossible to believe. Would you bring me on, Joe? Bring me on Reverend Wright on line 4. Bring me Reverend Wright. Can you put them both on at the same time? You don't know how to do it yet? Okay, I might have to come over there and show you how to do it. Ron.
Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, preacher. You all right?
Yes, sir. Got a couple things I want to run by you right quick. But first of all, that county commissioner, that took place in July. As a matter of fact, the day that I went and spoke to the county commissioners on some discrimination charges that they had, that topic was brought up. And
Is that right?
Judge Jenkins was against that, because what you just said is the same thing Clay said. What about people who can't afford? It's kind of like a Skype thing. It's what about people who can't afford that? I mean, what do they do if they want to see their loved one? And John and the rest of them were for it because it's about money.
John Wiley was for it?
They all never. Clay was the only one when I was there that was an advocate against.
Wait a minute. Now you telling me Elba Garcia and John was for this?
It was about money. It's about dollars. And they were for it. Clay was the only somebody that said, wait a minute, you got people who can't afford to do this. Why would we throw them under a bus? And they want to see their loved ones, and now they're not going to be able to see their loved ones. Or like your guest just said, if they do, they're going to be in there with a big screen, and they won't be able to hear a thing that's going on with their loved ones. But Clay was adamantly against them passing this, and everybody else was for it.
And so they're going to vote on this Tuesday. Okay, I might have to go around and conference y'all. I might have to run the board too in just a second. Bring me. Thank you, preacher. Bring me Josh back on. Is Josh back on? All right, Josh, Josh, you're there. Okay, sorry we're having some technical inabilities this morning, but we'll get it straightened out. Let me this Tuesday give out that website again to let people know to send messages that they are against this. Give that out. You can't give that out too much. I want people, everybody. Can they do that this morning?
Yes, please.
They can do it now.
Yes, they can do it right now. And that website, again, is www.phonejustice.org.
One more time. I want to make sure people get this. Please get on your computers right now.
www.phonejustice.org.
Do they need to say anything? What do they need to say that they are against?
There will be a link when they go there. It says Dallas Take Action. Click the link that says Dallas Take Action. There will be a letter that's already filled out. And at the bottom, all they'll have to do is put in their name, address, I think maybe phone number, email address. But the other important thing is the judge himself has asked that people come on Tuesday. It is so important that everybody shows up. And if people want to speak, they'll have to call in the day before. And I can give that number if you would like that as well.
Please,
That number, and they need to call this by Monday, no later than 4 p.m., is 214-686-8255. 653-7165.
All righty. We have line 4. Reverend Wright, are you? Yeah, okay.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, you're on with Josh Raven.
Yeah, Josh. One of the things that we did discuss that day when they initiated was that poor people couldn't afford to do this thing. This is about dollars, and I don't know if it's dollars past to where the commissioners might get a kickback for how many phone. And that's in most cases like that when companies start a program like this, they tend to kick back a little change for the more people that can come in and get involved in it. So at the end of the day, this was about money, and Clay saw through it that a lot of poor people can't afford this, but from the other commissioner's point of view, the more people that got involved with this, there was going to be a kickback.
Well, now, if they're going to vote, is it need to call Clay Jenkins on Monday. We need to see can he hold up on this particular thing, and I'd like to get Clay Jenkins on the air. I'm gonna get him on. I want to know really hear from him what's going on. He's the county judge. He's really the head of the commissioner's court, and find out from him how did this thing all come about. Y'all say it started in July. It was
brought up in July when I went down and spoke to the county commission. It was the first topic that they got involved with, and it caused a little corruption because people were saying, "Wait a minute, poor people," and it's unfortunate, but people who don't have no money, or mothers and fathers that are on fixed income, whose kids make bad decisions, like all of us, none of us are perfect. They can't afford to go through this to see their loved one, and Clay was explaining that to the rest of the commissioner, and it fell on deaf ears.
All right, Josh, about how much would a visit cost like that?
Well, as it stands in the contract right now, the video visit would be $10 for about 20 minutes, which is not as expensive as some contracts. But where they get you are the fees. Fees to put money on the account. Right. Fees to connect. I mean, there's all types of fees, and by the time you're done, there's no telling how much you're out.
So in other words, if you want to leave money on the books and everything, it's going to be a fee on that? What do you think?
Yes.
This video contract is connected to one of the worst phone contracts possible for the county. Essentially what happened is the way the bids were written, and I could be wrong, but I believe the sheriff and then was involved in this as well. Don't quote me on that.
They were, Josh. The sheriff department was for it. But I think Luke did make a comment about the fees were going to be a little expensive, because Clay definitely said it. When they get through all the fees that they were going to charge, like I said, that was going to be a kickback.
Yes.
Because you're talking about hundreds of dollars just for a 10-minute visit.
And even if Judge Jenkins gets what he wants, which is 0 fees for the county, the rates are still too high for the for-profit company. Essentially, this is like they have accepted the highest bidder.
Why do y'all think the media has covered this up?
Well, they haven't cut it up. The media was there the day that I spoke, and they brought it up. The media was there, and I think Sean Rabb was there, and I noticed that it never was because they bought it for that date. They didn't do the story, I guess, for whatever reason. The media
but have they let the general public know there's a vote coming this Tuesday?
Not at all.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, that seems to be some cover-up. Something's going on wrong somewhere. Josh, both of y'all, Josh, you called me on my office line yesterday. Give me a call this morning. I should be at my office. I'll be there about 11 o'clock. We need to not only just give out the website. You gave out the phone number, right?
Yes, I did. You want me to give both?
Give them both out one more time, because we got to get the people on top of this to put a stop to this, because you never know who's listening, who may not have money to go see their loved one. And I just don't like the idea there's no up close and personal visits anymore. Go ahead, get the website and the number.
All right. Right. The website to let the commissioners know how you feel is www.phonejustice.org. And to call and sign up to speak on Tuesday, you have to do it by 4 p.m. on Monday, is 214-653-7165.
People, you need to be on top of this. You need to be on top of this. All right, we'd like to thank you, Josh, for your call. Thank you, Reverend Wright. And I'll tell you what, we're getting ready to go into hour number 2, and we'll take a short break. And everybody, you can reach me at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. We're ready for hour number 2, and you can reach us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. All right, let's say good morning to, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Nikki. All righty, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. I just want to weigh in on your conversation about, DERCOM visitation on computer systems. I work for one of the largest companies out there who do it.
Okay.
And I just want to say it's more cost effective. Most jails, when you go into the visit, on-site visit, it's free. They don't charge you to go on-site. So that's what confusion is about what just, I'm not sure what the other fellow's name was, the guy's name was. And so it costs when you visit from at home. That's something that's a choice that they make to visit from at home. You don't necessarily have to visit from at home. And to be honest, which is no cost effective, you have a lot of elderly people who can't go to the facility where their loved one is located at. They can't go to the facility. Their loved one may be 200 miles away.
Okay, answer me this. They say if you go to the facility, it's going to cost.
Not for the facilities that we serve. From the company I work, I don't know about Dallas County because we don't serve Dallas County, but the facilities that we serve.
This in particular is about Dallas County, and
yeah, I know.
They're saying that it'll be so much noise and hostility that just noise there that you won't be able to hear the person that you want to speak with, and it just bring about a lot of confusion if you try to see them without paying. But in order to really get communicated with the person you want to, they're going to have a fee for that. What do you think about a situation like that?
Well, I don't think, a fee should be charged. Like my company, we don't charge a fee for you to, it's a fee for you to pay for, at home. Let me give you just an example. A 20-minute, like right now we're running a promotion, $5 promotion for 20 minutes. But as far as going to the site, most sites have computer systems up in the pods and up in the jail cell. And so, and then you have booths, like we call them terminals, that you go to. It's not an issue. I speak to customers every day. That's my department that I work. I speak to customers every day and don't have the issue. Now, you're going to have your computer glitches and things. So we don't have an issue with customers saying, hey, I can't hear the inmate while I'm at the facility. We don't have that issue.
All right. Okay, now, what city do your company serve?
We serve in 45 states, over 2,600 facilities.
What's some of your large cities?
Some of my large cities would be, let me give you Arapahoe County. Let me give you that. That's Denver, Colorado. We serve, Butte County. Maybe you're not familiar with California. We serve some here in Texas, but I'm just not liberty to tell you the name of my company. But,
no, I didn't ask the name of it. Do y'all serve Houston?
We do Harris County.
Y'all do Harris County. Okay. You do Bexar County?
No, Bexar County is in San Antonio, Texas. We no longer service them for phone calls. Haven't in years, but I'm referring to video visitation is what I'm referring to.
What about Nassau County, New York?
No, we don't serve Westchester County. Yes, we service them for video. Let me just try to think of some of the companies that we serve, some of the facilities, so you may be familiar with what I'm talking about. In Texas, we would service Hopkins County, Hayes County, law enforcement. Those are some of the facilities that we service for video services. But like I said, that's my department, that's my specialty, that's my baby. But it's cost effective for them to have the visits. You're able, the jails will maybe provide, provide more visits than if they had to bring you out. It's cost effective for them to have, but then we need just a certain amount of officers employed so we can have such and such. Yeah, it is a business. Everybody don't realize this. It's a business. All
right. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for your call. All righty, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Imani. All righty.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Good morning, Imani. You know anything about this?
Oh, yes. I've been knowing about it for a long time. So welcome to America. Chicken Little, the sky just hitting you on top of the head. Thank somebody. But this has been happening a long time, Reverend Barnett.
Tell us, what is your view on this?
Well, when I was with FAM and with Annie Casey, our juvenile department and all that, I'm telling you what, I've been going to the prisons for over 10, 15 years now. They overcharging for everything. So I knew they were going to start charging people to come visit, but they never did. They had been talking about it all the time at the county level. But they never did put it on. They had never put it on the table. So I've been knowing about it for about 10, 15 years when I was with Justice Policy.
So in other words, this has not just popped up. This is something that's maybe been tossed around for a while.
Yes, sir, at the state level, but now it's at the county level. And so, but I want to tell people, they have a bill in Washington, D.C. Ron Paul, I'm finna go Republican, everybody. Democrats are not doing us any good. So, but they got a bill in Washington, D.C. concerning prison reform, Ron Paul Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And so this ain't, I don't know why everybody's screaming and hollering, and especially some of you people who've been doing this a long time, FAM did it. They have been, if you go to the prison system, B01, B02, Gatesville, Huntsville, it's a business, and they charge you, a Coke here may cost you $1. It's going to cost you $2 down there.
All right. But I'm very concerned about also the people that will go down to Dallas County and will have to pay in order to see their loved ones and well, they won't really see them in person, but to communicate with them. In other words, if you don't have money, you can't see your loved one. Now, to me, that's not right, and I know it's not right. That's not right.
But do this for me, Reverend Barnett. All the people that call me and complain, I don't understand. I understand. It's a business. It's on Wall Street. They make a lot of money. It's been there for about 20, 30 years. It ain't just starting. I just asked them to meet me down at the city, down at County Commissioner's Court this week. Because all this calling your show and complaining ain't doing us no good.
So, in other words, they need to be down there at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning.
Yes, sir, and I'm a Republican now.
All righty, okay then. All righty, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Reverend Moss. All righty, good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed. You know, here's the opportunity for the people to make a difference.
And the preacher, you got that right. They can make a difference. Believe me.
Make a difference.
If enough people started going to their website and sending that letter, enough people began to call and let them know that they are not for this, they're against this. If people did this in mass numbers this morning,
right?
If the bulk of our listeners would just flood that line, would bust that thing wide open, I guarantee they'll back off.
Yes, and I know a place where you're talking about. Here's where sweetens the pie. It's all about the money. I know a place where they have inmates. Over 150, some of them there, and some of them have served their time. They're not on paper, they're not on parole, but they're illegally kept, and they get over $3,000 per head. That's money. Well, so they don't want to turn them loose, and they don't want you coming in there nosing around. So it's all about the money.
And when you look at it, it's basically slavery.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
It's slavery.
That's a modern day slavery.
It is. It is. When you deny people certain rights in order to make a profit, it's nothing but slavery.
It's slavery.
And this is what's happening now with this situation. If, I don't know why the media coverage has not been on this. I don't know why. I can't understand this. Why isn't the general public being told? But we're telling it now. It's enough people listening to the show to stop this.
That's right.
In its tracks.
And that they don't want the media to blow it up. Now, anything that's bad, the media jump right in there when it don't concern nothing like this. money. But anything that's bad, they don't tell you when the airplane fly to California and all the people got there safe.
No.
They crashed down in No Man's Island. They jump right on that. Everybody know about it.
Yeah, the bad things. But now this is something that could really hurt people that want to see their loved ones, that maybe it's a young person that made a mistake, or maybe they might even be innocent.
That's right.
That could be down there. They're terrified and scared and wants to see mama, wants to see daddy, or wants to see Aunt Sue or whatever, or grandpa, whatever. But what if the person that they want to see don't have the finance to go down there and do their due diligence, taking care of their loved one? This is a problem I really don't like, and I need everybody listen to this program. Call those numbers that Josh Raven gave out. Thank you.
Barnett.
Yes, huh?
What street is your church on?
On Masters Drive at Bruton Road.
Masters Drive on Bruton Road?
It's on Masters. It's at Bruton and Masters, yeah.
Yeah, I want to visit with you one Sunday.
Well, come visit for me, and you might have a sermon up your sleeve. You never know.
All right, well, God bless you. Keep up the good work.
All righty, thank you. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Joe. All righty. Good morning, Joe.
Hello, Reverend. How you doing?
Fine. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, great.
Were you aware of this?
No, it totally shocked me, and my background is criminal correction. It's totally shocked. I guess I slept on this one, but it seemed very, very, very unfair. I guess it's getting kind of like politics. You have to pay to get access to your politicians.
That's right.
And now you're going to have to pay to get access to your loved ones who are incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
I guess everything has come full circle. I guess hell is really freezing over.
Well, I guess it is. It definitely is. There's another headed toward hell. But something is wrong here because I'm very upset about this.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I'm going to do further research on that. I had a couple of questions for you. Mm-hmm. You didn't go to the commissioner's court this week, did you?
No, I wasn't there. No.
I went down, and it was quite interesting, quite embarrassing, to say the least, about a lot. Let me ask you a question. If Inland Port had come out to the Lancaster-Hutchinson area, they say southern sector, about how many jobs do you think that thing would have brought?
According to all the experts and the top people, I've talked to all the top people and the experts, they say it was just basic 65,000 jobs.
Whoa, I was thinking about 3 times. My goodness.
No. They say 65,000.
Is that right? Yeah.
You had a hold up. They first needed that spur coming off of 45 there.
Exactly.
What's that, Pleasant Run?
Right.
Eddie Bernice immediately got that money, but it was held up.
Right.
The building of, the spur coming out.
I remember on Wintergreen down there was a bridge.
Wintergreen is what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Wintergreen, right. For any number of years, and I remember our man downtown. They say he didn't want it completed. He was holding out, and I remember there was a commissioner, I think it was Lower, somebody going to let them use some of his equipment because they said they need equipment, and John went completely off. He said that they didn't go into each other's district, but the guy say that people came to him and helped, so the beat goes on. But with that many jobs coming in, I mean, what a loss, The other thing is
but now, just another second on this, Joe. Look, 65,000 jobs in the southern sector.
And we needed that badly.
Look, Dallas has the most undeveloped land.
Exactly.
Of any major city I've ever been to. I've never been to a city where, you can start there at I-35, go straight across 20.
Right.
All the way to Pleasant Grove.
Right.
Man, you can ride for miles and miles and never see anything.
I came to Dallas in '88, and I could see right away. I lived all over the United States, and the guy was telling me, he said, one of the beauties in Texas, you all are a big state, and you got a lot of undeveloped land.
Believe me, Dallas is undeveloped. That's southern sector. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. The other thing, you remember when D'Angelo Lee and Don Hill and all that, those in that case broke. John vehemently stated that D'Angelo Lee needed to resign immediately.
Right.
Now, the question is, I saw some silliness going on down at the Commissioner's Court this Tuesday. Do you think John would serve the county better and himself if he go ahead and resign?
I really...
Well, I won't say resign. Step aside, administratively step aside right now.
I really, I don't know if this is hindering him. I haven't been down there to preside. Now, to me, who would serve in that spot? Would would they have someone else to come in?
That we don't know.
I don't want I don't want the southern sector not to have any representation. That we get somebody that could serve well.
Exactly. Now, if he would administratively step himself aside, he could, because that's a heck of a case. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a uphill thing to keep himself out of prison, I think. And he would have more time to work on his case. And plus, he seemed like now he's just itching to clown. Now, Greg Barber was on him about that old car accident. And John just, boldly was constantly disrespecting the man. He was referring to him as Mr. Watson. And Trey Jenkins say his name is Watkin. John constantly called him Watson. He said, well, he's Watson now. Craig told him, he said, my name is not Watson, it's Watkin. He says, you are Watson now. And Craig say that's an insult.
All this happened this past Tuesday?
Oh, yes. Oh, it was ugly.
Did the media carry this?
So what?
Did the news media carry this?
I didn't see it on the news, but it was ugly. And you know how Craig looks like he's scared. He looks down. You can he's barely audible.
Right.
And John just totally disrespected him. He refused to call him Watkin. He told him, you are Watson now. What is that foolishness all about?
Oh, man, that's, you can see the young days of immaturity, but all of these Negroes got too old for that bull. Don't get me started. Look, I'm up against a short break, but that was utterly ridiculous. That happened.
Man, I wanted to just go in the flow. But have a good day.
All right, thank you. All right, we're up against a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and you can reach us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to a concerned female. All righty?
Concerned citizen.
Oh, is that concerned citizen?
Yeah.
That's not what I have on my book. Well, go right ahead.
I know.
Okay.
He must didn't hear me good. No problem, but I just wanted to correct it.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Barnett.
Good morning. How are you?
Pastor Barnett. I'm blessed. I just first want to say to God be the glory. I'm calling about the topic that you're discussing right now about citizens going to pay to see their see their family members or somebody that they know in jail. I want to know who is the one that suggested that. Was it Murray? What's his name?
No. This is at the commissioner's court. It wasn't at the city council. It wasn't Marion.
Well, who the one suggested?
Well, they say it's some corporation. If I understood Josh to say, a corporation came in, and there were others. The commissioner's court, the 4 members on the court, entertained the idea, and some felt like it was worth listening to. And since then, it's grown into time they're stating that they will vote on this Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Well, that's what the time the court starts.
Okay, Pastor Barnett, the people, what are they doing with all this money? What are they doing? They don't.
Well, they're not giving it back to the people. That's for sure.
They don't tax the people to death.
Right.
They don't tax the people to death. And who is to say that a corporation, any corporation, got a right to come here in Dallas and suggest something like that, and everybody's supposed to go along with it? It's madness. It's crazy. And the Lord said in His Word, "Vengeance is His, and He will repay." People need to speak up. You can't go along with everything these people say. And the last thing, and another thing I want to say before I hang up, Is this covering everybody, every race here in Dallas, Texas?
Well,
is this going corporate all over the world?
Well, if you're wealthy and need to go down and see your whatever it costs $5, $10, $20, that don't matter to you. But now, if you're on a fixed income, maybe unemployed, not making much money, because most poor people work every day. To have a fee to go see your loved one, that's an extreme burden. So,
right. Well, Pastor Barnett, they are not being fair to the people, whether they're poor or rich.
Well,
these people want to see their family member, and it sounds like they're trying to hide things from their family members to keep them from seeing their family members.
Right.
Because if they can't see their family members, they don't know what's going on, and if they gonna go to jail or go to prison or stay in jail, how are we gonna communicate if you ain't got no money?
Well,
I'm praying, and the devil is a lie, and it's wickedness in high places, and God still got it in control.
Are you gonna contact the website or call that number?
I'll call the number and see what I can do.
Please do. Please, everybody call. Everybody can give a phone call. All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Nicole. All righty. Good morning, Nicole. Well, that was one. Couldn't wait. All right, let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Ike. Good morning, Ike. Yeah, go right here. Mr. Barbecue.
Yeah. Oh.
Man, you outdid yourself this time. I'm going to have to call Elder Reverend Pearson and tell him, boy, I seen have stepped out now. You out of sight with that barbecue, man. You the best I've had in a long time, maybe ever. You were good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But what I want to say is this thing about the jail visiting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, this is not new. Reverend Wright was asking when he said that they spoke about this back in July. I think what happened was we were so consumed with this thing about the immigrant kids coming across the border, and they was coming to Dallas. And I think they threw this under the umbrella. So Clay Jenkins did say that it's not fair to charge people to see their loved ones. And Clay Jenkins did stand up against it, and our own county commissioner and some of the others, they kind of debated it because I think it was a $3 million contract, if I'm not mistaken, because they didn't put too much information out about it. And Monday Night Politics coming up over at Fair Park, they supposed to, I heard Clay Jenkins and Ron Latinsky going to be there, and maybe we can go there.
On Monday night, it's going to be the DA's debate. They're going to bring in Ted and Watkins, and Craig and Susan Hawks. They're going to debate, and this Monday evening at 6 o'clock there in Fair Park at the African American Museum. So
the last one I went to was supposed to have been Clay Jenkins and Susan Hawks and not Clay Jenkins. Craig
but Craig didn't make it, so they're going to debate this Saturday evening. This Monday evening. I got a phone call late last night. They told me to announce that, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, I'm glad because I thought that we had the understanding that it was going to be Clay Jenkins and Ron Latinsky. But anyway, the thing about that jail visit, it was discussed on the news, and they showed who was for it and who was against it. And like I said, Clay Jenkins did stand up against it. So
was he by himself?
Well, he was the only one that took a stand. Everybody else was kind of debating it. Then they got to arguing about the price that it was going to cost. It was like $3 million that these companies wanted to bring this in, and it was too expensive. And well, they didn't vote on it, but they discussed it. I said we were so consumed with the fact that they was trying to bring the immigrant kids in the Hussey and into the Dallas County that I think we just got by it.
All right. Okay. I'm sure glad we do. I know you're going to do your due diligence, going to the website and also giving a phone call down there, because I would hate to see people have to pay to see their loved ones.
One of the things I don't understand is when you go down there and you visit the loved ones with this system they got, well, it's kind of like invading your privacy, because I'm pretty sure they're going to record you while you're down there.
Right. Well, you'll be on video.
Record the conversation and everything.
Right.
So what if your lawyer want to go see somebody? They got to go see them.
That's another thought. Is there any privacy with attorneys?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, have a great day.
All right, thank you. All righty, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Tony. Tony, are you there?
Yeah, good morning, Reverend.
Go right ahead, Tony. How are you this morning?
All right. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard, but that Jason that was in the investigation in Alba, or whatever it is trying to put a bill this coming session to split the ISD in the 4 school district.
Yeah, I heard about this. State legislator want to split DISD, but he want to use this to push in the home rule.
Exactly, and the thing is, his kids go to DISD, and part of it's political because he's trying to go for bigger office. I don't think he's just trying to beat his low fruit right now. Right now he's low fruit, but at the end of the day, he is disappointed that the whole rule they wanted this time, because they need 25% of the voters. That's how they were trying to rush it for November. Mm-hmm. Now he wants to change that to make it easier. He has a choice to put his kids in charter school. He has a choice to put his kids in private school. Mm-hmm. But because he's a Republican and because they're running to this charter school system, basically, he wants to put the idea there so they can have a whole school district, so they can have the data to say, hey, charter schools work.
Well, now, isn't this gentleman a Hispanic gentleman?
Yes, sir.
And he's trying to push the charter school on DISD by splitting it up into four different districts and all of this. I want the people to know about this, and maybe many have heard it, but this is don't go for this. And we're going to, don't worry, we're going to expose it. We're going to talk about it.
And if you could find out, I know where his kids go to school at. I bet you where he stays is not where his kids go to school at. Because at the end of the day, he's putting his kids in the best schools in Dallas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So to talk to him, you must say, okay, why should your kid go to the local school where you stay at?
We will. Don't worry. Right. We will do that. We will. We're going to find out everything about him. All right? All right. Thank you. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Reverend Crenshaw on line 2.
God bless you.
God bless you, Reverend Crenshaw.
Good morning.
Good morning. You all right?
Y'all can sure go on. Let me say this. Now, from the Holy Spirit, right? You know, the Holy Spirit is what comes from Almighty God. Now, this is a message from Almighty God, from the Holy Spirit, to me, a revelation. John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, all you American unfair local police practitioners of injustice, all conservative, right-wing, mass media commentary, all your self-appointed men of God who wearing sheep's clothing, but ambush about Widow Williams' last little pennies. All of you. God, he's saying, I'm tired of you. I'm sick of this mess. You've been shown yourself amiss. You've been weighed in the balance and been found wanting. Soon, I'm tired of this mess. All right now, all right. I'm going to send my son down there and straighten this mess out soon, along with ISIS. ISIS, too. You are on warning. God bless you.
All right, God bless you. 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Doc on line 3, all righty? Good morning, Doc.
Turn my radio down. Yes, Reverend Barnett.
Yes, sir. How are you this morning?
Fine. I've been listening to all of this propaganda. And what it seems to me is they're taking charge of the schools, and then they're going to charge you to see your loved ones.
Could you cut the radio? We getting feedback.
I'm going to turn it off
right now.
Yeah, it really buzzes in these headsets. All right, thank you.
If they're going to do all of this, the average taxpayer won't have any power to do anything. They take over the schools, then they charge you to see your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have any power to do anything.
Say if you had a child.
You know what? I've been down there, and they treat you like you're a criminal.
Is that right?
You like you're a fool. Yeah, the people that the jailers even talk to the people that come down there like they're a criminal.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. And
at Dallas County?
Yes, the jailers, they act like they crazy. You can't sit under them. They're going to take over the schools if we don't vote, and they're going to take over the jails. They're going to have it where the average taxpayer can't do anything. He won't be powerless. He won't be able to do anything.
And they're rude, huh?
They're rude. I've been down there, man. They talk to you. They said one time when I went down there that we couldn't see the inmates because they were slopping them. And one lady said, "Don't say slop them, say feed them." But they're very rude. They're very rude. Even when you come down to see your loved ones, they're rude to the black people. This thing is getting out of... You know what? And I didn't know that John acted a fool like he did. I was supporting him at one time. But no wonder they're keeping him on the commissioner's court, because they can twist his arm. He'll do anything they say now. And he'll go against his own people.
Do you think he needs to step aside?
He needs to step aside if he's acting a fool like he is. I used to support him, but now, if he's on the other side, and then his trial might not come up to 2016, look what he can do. He'll be on the opposition side, and he can block a lot of stuff that's coming through the pipe.
Well,
it's getting bad.
I know. How could he? Well, I'm not sure if he's against for this money. Now, I've gotten word that he's going to vote to do this. Now, it may not be true. It may not be true, but I got word late last night that he was for it. I don't want to say because I don't know for sure.
Let me
go right ahead.
If he talked to the district attorney like that, it kept saying, "You're Watson now," let him think about when they were down there and the people were calling him a mullah, which is something different in the Muslim faith. And he said, "My name is John Watt." If they kept calling him a mullah, and he finally got mad and got up and told them all to go to hell.
Yeah, well.
You remember that?
And that DA is elected just like him.
That's right. He don't have any reason to talk to him like that.
Right. All right.
John is doing what they say he's doing. He need to get out.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Is this the old Nicole line? Is that, did she call back?
It's the same Nicole, yes.
She call back. Give me her on line, too. All righty. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, sir. I'm sorry. I couldn't hold on. I had to get to another call.
Okay.
But I just wanted to call back to say I'm actually headed to Dallas, to Lucebet right now to visit a close friend of mine. And I just want to say, just going off what the last caller said also, they are very rude to the people, especially in one particular tower, which is the Caves Tower. Sometimes you will not even get your visit. You can be there on time, in the building, on the floor, in the line, and they will turn off the light, leave the room, and they'll come back and say, "Oh, well, visitation is over. You can't see them today."
They cut the lights out on you down there?
They have a room where the booth where they are, they will shut the lights out and close the door, and you can't see in, you don't know what's going on. They have left us standing there sometimes 30 minutes to an hour, and then they will come back to the window and maybe only a couple of people could see the inmates, and they would turn the rest around. They're very rude down there, and I understand.
This is something we need to address the commissioner's court about, the rudeness of the employees that they have working there, because your tax dollars, mine, and everybody else's pay these people's salary, And they should be treated with dignity when they go down there to see their loved ones, and they don't need to be treated rude. They don't talk rude to you, do they?
Oh, they talk to you. They talk to you just about how crazy they talk to the inmates. And I know if they treat us that way, they treat the inmates even worse. So
these are jailers or what?
Yes, they are, and it starts from the moment that you're trying to get in, and when the line can be backed up outside, you're standing in the heat, and it starts right there all the way up until your visit. Just a whole lot. Not all of them, but the majority of them are very rude.
I'm glad y'all calling in on this. Others, y'all call in. You've been treated, you feel like unfairly, rude. Been treated in a non-dignified way. Let me put it like that. You certainly deserve to be treated dignified. You are coming down to see your loved ones. You're coming down to you never know what might be happening. You might be in a bad state of mind because you might be upset, and for someone to treat you rude when you come down there trying to see your loved ones, that's wrong, and we're going to have to do something about that. Ron, give me a call about 9:05. Ron, give me a call. I'll tell you what, I'm up against a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host, reaching every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Right now, get your pen and paper out. Get your pen and paper out and get ready for Mr. Greg Barber. He's coming with our Solution and Action Today job line. Get your pen and paper out, and he has some jobs. There are some jobs out there, I'm pretty sure. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Rem Barnett.
Fine. How you doing today?
Doing fine.
Yeah, are the jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. That's Solutions and Actions Today job line, brought to you every Saturday morning during Church Information and Open Forum here on Knon 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Omnitrax. Look for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.hirebridge.com. Once again, that's www.hirebridge.com. Johnson Controls is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.johnsoncontrols.taleo.net. Once again, that's Johnson Controls Incorporated is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.johnsoncontrols.taleo.net. Tom Thumb is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.tomthumb.com/careers with an S. Once again, that's Tom Thumb is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.tomthumb.com/careers with an S. Repair Services Incorporated is looking for service representatives. They're asking you to send your resume to jobs, JOBS, the @ repairsbc.com. Once again, that's Repair Services Incorporated, looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to send your resume to jobs at repairsbc.com. Interstate Battery is looking for customer service representatives and hotshot delivery travel. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers.interstatebatteries.icims.com/JOBS. Let me repeat that. Interstate Battery is looking for customer service representatives and hotshot delivery travel. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers-interstatebatteries.icims.com/job-JOBS. UPS is still looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.ups.com/careers with an S.
Not cutting you off. Forgive me for doing this. I was riding out Irving Boulevard yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know those truck companies and different things like that, Conway, all of those big truck lines?
Right.
Every one of them have big signs out there going all the way up Irving Boulevard, all past Mockingbird on up in there. This is we are hiring. This is what you call dock work?
Yes, sir.
And truck drivers.
Yes, sir.
These are high-paying jobs.
Right.
Man, what's going on? People say they can't find work, or what's going on? What's happening with that?
There are several companies hiring, and people can't find work. I mean, my question is, what are they looking for? Because it's out there.
It's definitely out there. All of those companies, big signs out there. We're hiring.
Right.
People go straight out of Irving Boulevard to let me up out a little bit there. And you've gotten companies, and you say UPS is still hiring.
UPS is still hiring. Yes.
Wow.
UPS is still hiring. You can follow online at www.ups.com/careers with an S. If you are a child-loving patient and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving patient and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with their recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back to mainstream society, needs assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with their recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job searches, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. For all you football fans, it's time to get registered to vote. We're getting in the fourth quarter. It's time to get prepared. It's time to get educated. It's time to make your choices now. We are a little less than 2 months out from midterm elections. However, these elections, I will go to say, these elections will affect you quicker than the presidential elections, because these are for governor, these are for several state offices, these are for things that you deal with daily. These are very important in this lifetime. I know y'all hear us say this all the time, but every election is important. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't be having. Every election is important, but this especially. This will determine how the next 2.5 years go.
Yeah, and we definitely need to vote right in that governor's race.
Yes,
Believe me, that one is very important. All right, thank you, Greg. Great job as always.
Thank you.
All right. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Bernice. All righty. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor. How are you this morning?
All right, thank you. Thank you for waiting.
Hey, I had a few things, but first of all, can I get that information? I got the tail end of the top of the hour at 8. I wanted to get that information. Who do we need to call to say that we are against this this money making machine? Who do we need to call?
All right. Now I have the website here. It's www.phonejustice.org. If you can go on there, did you, Joe? Did you get the? You didn't get the phone number down. If somebody got the phone number, try to get in. I know all the lines are filled, but try to get in and get me the phone number. And just listen, Bernice, and we'll give you the phone number.
Okay, now I got a couple things I want to say. First of all, I want to say that we need a rally. We need to have a march on making demands on our elected officials to do right by us. We gave our vote in good faith to bring these people in, put them in positions of authority, and they have turned around. So we need to hold them accountable, and we need to come together as a community and have a rally and a march and say, this is what we want and this is what we expect you to do. Is there no reason for our communities to look blighted, to have high unemployment, have high dropout rates? There is no reason, whether it's on the city council, whether it's in the commission boards, whether it's library boards. We need to hold people accountable. And I want to put people on notice also that we can get out there and make a difference by serving, by volunteering on these commission boards that they have. They always have. Dallas County has various commission boards, advisory boards that you can serve. You can serve at least once or twice a month out of your time, and you can be on the inside and know what's going on as far as who's making the decision when the money's being allocated into our communities. And the reason why we don't have a really good representation because we're not engaged enough. And we got to be more proactive in that sense. Last weekend, I participated in the labor union rally. And I said, this should have been a full house. And we got people who won't get out. And I'm saying, people, let's stop crying about stuff if we're not going to get out there and vote. And we're not going to get out there and march. We all have to sacrifice. We're all busy. Pastor Barnett, he has a busy schedule himself, but he can't do it all. He needs your support. He needs you to put that money where your mouth is. And I'm also going to talk about the fact that there's no reason for Texas to be number one in child poverty, hunger.
You know, that's
we need to hold our elected officials to it. We can't just sit back and talk about it. We need to hold them accountable. And the other thing is, we need to support the labor unions. If you don't have a union at your job, you can form one. Don't let them try to tell you no, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to cower down and be afraid to speak out. And the only reason, Pastor, the only reason why prisons are profitable is because we keep giving them business.
That's right.
We stop breaking the laws and stop each other. Now, I'm talking about the injustice that we see that goes on. People are innocently put in jail. That needs to be dealt with. That's what the DA and all that's what address, and not that superficial stuff that they talk about every day. It has nothing to do with your everyday living. And if we will get out and be more proactive by serving on the boards, go to these rallies, go support people like Pastor Barnett, we will be a people to be reckoned with. I believe, and we need to support and be intelligent and stop putting our head in the sand and turning away saying it's going to go away, because we want to put all the job on the price. We want to put all these actions and all this. We have to hold them accountable. If you're not working, there's no reason why you're not volunteering. There's no reason to say or excuse to say I can't serve. Get out there and do something about it and make a difference. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
All right, we're going to have to take up offering for you. All right. You preached this morning. All right, that number to call is 214-653-7165. That's 214-653-7165. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Leon.
Good morning, Rev. Barnett.
Good morning, Leon. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm as well as can be expected.
All right.
I want to mention something. According to KERA Radio, the city of Dallas has a $55 million budget surplus. And they're now in the phase where they're deciding where the surplus is going to be spent for next year's budget. And I met with a couple of council people at a couple of town hall meetings. Mm-hmm. And the South Side is not really represented. And I'm going down there to ask for human services. When I go to these meetings, I'm the only person that's representing that part of town. That, we're talking about services for people who have, homelessness, and et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And $55 million, if that part of town can get $5 or $6 million of those dollars, that would help a lot. So at 9:30 on Wednesday.
The southern sector could use every dime of that.
Exactly.
And still would be light years behind the rest of the city. Well, what are some of our representatives of the southern sector? Are they asking for any of this money? Do they have any projects in mind? You know, we have some of the most uncreative people I've ever seen in my life serving us in office. We've had so many things that we should have done and could have gotten done years past. We could have gotten an airport in the southern sector that we needed badly. We have the most uncreative politicians of any people I've ever seen in my life. We have no creativity.
Well, as constituents, we have to go to these city council meetings, like I said, Wednesday at 9 o'clock or 9:30, and I'm going to be down there to advocate for some of these surplus dollars to be spent. But we as citizens have to go down there and advocate that. That's what Carolyn Davis was saying. I talked to her at the book fair that was at Fair Park last week, and I had talked to her and explained to her what I was, talking about the budget, and she said, well, you need to come to city council and stand in front of the city council and make those same suggestions. So what I'm asking some of these listeners, I'm not in the city council. They don't necessarily have to stand behind me, but they need to be there in numbers to show that.
Just encourage you, so that you have people with you. And
so at 9:30 on Wednesday, it's time to put up or shut up. Fish or cut bait and go down there and stand for the South Side. That we need some of this money, not just for dogs, not just for libraries, not just for sewage, but for people who are sleeping on the streets and have other needs. Spend some of this money on the South Side. Just in the shadow of Fair Park, all this so-called prosperity is, we have people sleeping on the streets. So I'm asking, some of us come down and support.
You're so right, because the word is, Scullbud, is that they're going to close the bridge. This is what I've been hearing. The bridge is a place where that's one of the city-owned homeless shelters down there. Had you heard anything on that?
Well, that's still inaccurate, because they just added some facilities to the bridge that have been.
I noticed that.
Haven't been open. So that's not accurate.
That's not accurate?
No, that's not accurate.
I'm talking about the bridge. I'm not talking about the walk-in.
No, I'm talking about the bridge, because I use the bridge. I'm still homeless, and I have a computer science degree, and I don't have any felonies. I'm not on probation, not on parole. I don't have a drug problem, but I'm homeless because, there's a racial connotation to anything that you do in this country. And when you come in there, or you're a qualified black person, and a white person with a felony can get a job before a black person who does not have a felony. So these issues still come up, and they create homelessness.
Wait a minute. What did you say you have?
I beg your pardon?
You say you have what? What kind of degree?
I have a computer science degree.
And you don't have a job?
No, I don't. And every time I apply for a job, the employers say, well, what did you do this year? There's a year gap in your employment history. What did you do that year? I said, well, I was looking for a job. They ask you disqualifying questions, and it's just that, you have a computer science degree, we need you, let's give you a chance. That's not the attitude. So that creates homelessness because you're unemployed.
And you say you don't have a felony conviction?
No, I don't have a felony. I don't have a felony. I'm not a drug abuser. I don't know what else I need to do. I can do. I have a degree. I'm working on a bachelor's.
Do you stay down at the bridge?
I stay at the Austin Street, the walk-in.
You stay at the walk-in?
Yes, I do.
So that means you're a mature male.
Yeah, I'm 60.
Yeah, I knew you had to be at least, I think, 45 to live at walk-in.
That's correct.
Wow. Oh, man. I need to get with you. You need to call me, and call me at 972-290-495. Call me.
All right.
About 11 o'clock this morning. And
I'll do it.
We'll see what we can do to help you. Man, this is... Wow, with all this. Look here, I'm out of time. Those who are waiting on the line, I'm sorry I can't get to you. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. I'm the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Breeden and Masters, right here in the city of Dallas. Service beginning at 11 a.m. every Sunday morning, Sunday school, 9:30. Also, the number again, make sure you call Dallas County at 214-653-7165. Let them know that you're against this fee that's going to be charged and all this whole mess they're coming down with to see your loved one. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.